roll into Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, let's talk about Deadpool and Wolverine because I have the exact same issue here.
Yes.
I saw the trailer and I said, oh, that looks like it could be really fun. And I love the moment where Deadpool says, can I get a hand up? And Wolverine extends the claws and he's like, never mind, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's straight out of the comics.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to work.
Especially, the reason why I wanted to go right into this is there is that scene that it kind of looks like it could be Doctor Doom. There's a scene in the trailer where there's a dude has a mask that looks kind of like a Doctor Doom mask.
Uh-huh.
And it's very brief. And I've also heard, I watched a couple of the trailer reactions because a lot of times I'll watch that because sometimes people will catch shit that I didn't see. And they paused it on that and they were like, is that how he gets introduced to the MCU through this movie?
Well, that's what it seems to be, is that Marvel basically took their fiascos for the last 4 years and handed them to Ryan Reynolds and said, you can fix this, right? Has Marvel gone back to Ryan Reynolds at the end of every day and said, no, but do more of this. No, wait, hang on. We need more of this. Hang on, don't do that. That's not what we want to do.
I have heard they pissed him off.
And so this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, there was a really cool Ant-Man movie planned when Edgar Wright was going to write and direct it. That didn't happen because Marvel pissed him off so bad that he left. He gave his script to them and he walked away. And, I'm just looking at this, and it's the exact same thing as the Fantastic Four.
I did puke in my mouth a little bit in the beginning of the trailer when you see the TVA.
I was so angry when the TVA showed up. I was like, this is what we're doing?
That's what they're doing.
This is what we're doing? You have all of these stupid hanging chads that you have insisted on putting up these last 4 years, and now they're going to be the backbone of our society? No, this cannot be. Yeah. This is going... I'm not saying it is
damage control and fucking.
I'm not going to say it is going to suck, but I have no reason to believe that it's going to be any good. Even if you have Ryan Reynolds, I just don't think it's going to be great. I think it could be, but I also think that Red Notice and the Adam Project were middling to decent at best. So, like, I look at If. I'm not thinking If looks interesting, but. Again, Ryan Reynolds isn't the only reason I think it looks interesting. And I love when Ryan Reynolds does the media for stuff. Mm-hmm. Anybody who didn't see, they have a great bit where for If, this movie directed by John Krasinski about imaginary friends starring Ryan Reynolds, they have him doing one of those behind the scenes like intros, like this is our trailer for our new movie If. We're really proud of it. But instead of John Krasinski, they have Randall Park saying that he's John Krasinski.
That was great. I did see
and you
that.
just have Ryan Reynolds just staring at him like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, see, this is what I love.
That is fucking awesome.
This shit I love.
Yes.
Is this going to be the movie? I don't know. And I don't think Marvel would ever let that happen.
The only thing that excited me about the trailer, I gotta admit, I've been the same as you. I was terribly skeptical at the end of that trailer. Mm-hmm. The only thing that gave me any excitement was when he's walking into the casino and you see the back of Wolverine's head.
Yeah.
It is a smaller Wolverine. And that's where I think if the rumor is true about Daniel Radcliffe being a cameo Wolverine.
But I'm so, like, this is my thing. I'm tired of this, man.
I think it would be funny.
Okay, I think it would be funny.
I think it would be funny.
I think John Krasinski would make a great Reed Richards.
Oh, yeah.
I think Anson Mount could wear the Black Bolt costume. You know what Marvel thinks? Great opportunity for a joke.
Yep.
We're not going to do it. We're going to get all of everything together and have everything ready and make it so you get a full proof of concept. We're never going to do it.
That's what's sad.
And so what? You're just bear baiting me with these ideas?
Well, maybe it could be a starting off point for, because you know Jackman's not going to be.
Well, so this is my
even
third
though
thing.
He supposedly is signed through Secret Wars,
but again,
that could be off too.
You remember that when Chris Evans was on contract, a lot of the contracts included post-credit scenes and that kind of thing. So he was on for like 7 movies, but one of those was Homecoming, where he just shows up in a post-credit scene.
That's
oh,
true.
it was one of the 7. And so like he could show up as a cameo. This is what they fucking do, is they say, hey, everybody's going to be in this movie, and then nobody's actually in the fucking movie. Yeah. When Deadpool did that, it was a joke. It was a joke on the studio heads. And it was done perfectly. Here, you're actually using it as bait to get us into the theater and get us excited about the movie, and then it just ends up being a nothing burger.
And the part that's, I'll be honest, that's not exciting me, and this is not an ageism thing. I've been watching like different clips of Hugh Jackman working out, getting ready for this, and it's like, man, he looks old.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the last remnant of Wolverine that I wanted to have in my head was Logan, when he's just this beaten old man.
Which was, again, 7 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So he's 7 years older now
Yeah.
on top of that, and it's like, dude, don't. Like, I like Hugh Jackman. I never loved him as Wolverine because of the whole fight thing.
Right. He's never
been right. But it's like, fuck, man.
You know, like, on a scale of how bad it's been with other actors that were cast in roles, this isn't as bad as I've seen.
No.
I still think Miles Teller is a worse Mr. Fantastic than Hugh Jackman is Wolverine.
Yeah.
But he's still not right.
No.
It's still not a fit. It's still a square peg having been pounded into a round hole.
Yes.
And will it work? Yeah, I guess now it will, because we've all gotten used to it. But this is not right. We can all look at this, if you know, and say, this is not right. But my other huge issue with this is, what is the one thing we have been saying about Deadpool 3? It got to be R-rated.
Yeah.
It has to be R-rated, because otherwise, what's the fucking point?
Yes.
What's the fucking point if you're going to make Deadpool 3 and it's not going to be R-rated? If this is the linchpin that holds everything together for the entire MCU and brings the X-Men in and all these other things and allows the Fox characters to be reestablished in the MCU, how is it going to be R? In what world could that movie be R?
Is the trailer itself has F-bombs and blood. So it's like, unless they backtrack off of the trailer, because if you rewatch it, they drop a few F-bombs and there's blood, like when he's fucking killing people.
Yeah.
So it's like, unless
but how are you going to have that be the movie that every 12-year-old wants to see because it ties into all the Captain America
I don't know
movies?
how they're going to do that.
See, that's my thing.
Yeah,
I don't think that they're going to be able to do that.
No.
I think what they're going to probably end up doing is releasing a PG-13 version in theaters and then a rated R version on DVD later on. And
I don't think they could do that.
I don't know how you do it any other way.
It would have to be the opposite, like they did with Deadpool 2.
No, I think that they're going to do the opposite of Deadpool 2.
They couldn't do that. I don't. No, that would be.
But they don't care. We've already talked about
I
this.
know they don't care.
They don't care.
But their reputation is so shot because they finally are getting called out for making dog shit movies, that if they did this, that could literally be the end of the MCU.
And I fully think that it could be the end
of
the MCU.
It will be the end.
But that's what I'm saying, is that I have not seen anything in the last few years that was MCU speared that has been even halfway decent, let alone good. What was the last thing that I saw that I actually genuinely liked almost all of, like more than 75% of, was probably Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And that was still closer to 75 than it was 100.
Yeah, because did they say, is Werewolf by Night part of the...
It's technically part of the canon, but we don't know where it fits.
Yeah, because that was the only thing truly that I've loved since Infinity War.
If Werewolf by Night takes place in the 40s or 50s, like the kind of thematic elements make it seem like, what's going to go on with Eliza Bloodstone?
Yeah.
What's been happening with Swamp Thing? Or not Swamp Thing, with Man-Thing.
Man-Thing.
You know, like... So if you're going to do this, you have to make it make sense. This is the same thing that DC has fallen into, is you started worrying about the entirety of the structure and not each individual piece. The pieces have to be good, and then you can see how they fit together.
Yeah.
You cannot just be like, pell-mell, let's just fucking shoot it at the wall and see what fucking works.
Yeah.
You know, I'm tired of it.
Yeah,
and
that's totally what they're doing.
I look at Deadpool and I say, okay, and how is this going to be good? Because what have I been given in recent history that makes me think that this is going to be any good? Nothing. So I'm going to go off of how cool the porcupine costume was in She-Hulk. These are the things I now get to hang my hat on. Like, but like, that's been the last 4 years, man.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look at Porcupine. He's here. They did it. Don't worry about the Wrecker. Don't worry about the Wrecker, because Porcupine's here, guys. Huh? And you love Daredevil and Kingpin. Oh, you love Kingpin. Yeah, I love Kingpin when you get him right. Oh, well, if he just shows up, though, that's good enough, right?
Yeah.
No, it's fucking not. It's not just good enough to have him on set. It has to be right, goddammit. Having Daredevil and Echo is a slam dunk. The way that you did it makes no fucking sense and completely undermines everything you're trying to build. So what are we fucking doing?
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah. No, I would love for Deadpool and Wolverine to be great. I have absolutely no reason right now
none
to think that it will be.
None. No.
So from there, I do want to roll, while we're talking some X-Men, into something that I don't know if it's going to be any good because it's on Disney Plus.
Yes.
X-Men 97. X-Men 97 is based off of the...
It's just pretty much like a reimagined continuation.
It's kind of a continuation, it looks like, of X-Men TAS.
I have to say, though, the nerds online have pointed out that one of the reasons why most nerds loved that show back in the day was Rogue had a voluptuous booty.
Yes, she did.
And she does not in the show. There's a lot of posts about that, which made me laugh.
Anybody who doesn't know, go and look up...
Oh my God, she put so many kids through puberty.
Go and look up X-Men, her and Jean Grey. Because Jean Grey, anytime she uses her powers or gets hit or has anybody take a swing at her, she goes, ah! And it just, after a while, it becomes really sexual. And like, between her and Rogue, just like, I can never get over the shot of Rogue getting hit by Apocalypse and then just landing like full 80s booty spread to camera. Like, it's just like, wow. You guys truly don't care.
It's such a great
But
film.
I do love the TAS. I love X-Men TAS.
Yeah.
I didn't love the last season, so I'm a little concerned that we're including the last season as part of the canon. It's fine. It's whatever. But
well, I'm just, like you said, I'm concerned that it's modern day Marvel and Disney making it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, I love the conceit that this takes place in 1997. I love the conceit of Wolverine and Gambit teaming up, though I do wonder if this would make Wolverine's entire skeleton explode, which I guess ultimately wouldn't really matter, but also kind of would. I love the look. I think the look where it has the feel of the original animation, but has more of an anime, style in terms of the way things move. So like I'm trying to think of how best to describe it, because you have the style and then you have the animation, and the style looks just like the show, and the animation looks like something out of an anime. And I want this to be good. I like that they brought back a lot of the same voice actors and that it has a very similar feel and look and style. I'm just a little nervous. It's going to come down to stories, man. It's going to come down to stories. And, not for nothing, some of those stories in the last season, not good. Not good stories.
And I have to admit, my initial reaction to the trailer was excitement and hope. And I've watched it a few times since then, and that has quickly dwindled. Mainly because of the discussion we just had.
Yeah.
And thinking about, okay, wait a second. Why am I excited about this right now? It's like the same as if James Gunn, if they remade the Batman, the animated series.
Yeah.
I would have the same reservations where it's like, I don't think you can make the series that we loved today.
You're bringing in new minds and just telling them to build around the old robots.
Yes.
And... what made those shows great were the minds behind them.
Yes.
Not just like one little thing here, one little thing there. It's like, I remember hearing about or seeing an interview with the guy that wrote the theme song. And to him, it was just kind of like an afterthought thing because to the show wasn't like a priority. And it became the calling card of that entire series is that opening theme song.
Yeah.
And man, I want this to be good. I want Deadpool 3 to be good, and I want Fantastic Four to be good, and I wanted the Marvels to be good, and I wanted She-Hulk to be good, and I wanted Miss Marvel to be good. And it just keeps on not happening for me. And at some point, I got to look at it as someone who has a lot of information in front of them and say, yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's just not going to happen.
If it ever happened where they made a comic accurate film, I might have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Like, I would be in that much shock.
Like, I was thinking about how I would feel if I walked out of Deadpool and I actually loved it.
Yeah.
It would blow my mind. I would be on cloud 9 because the MCU has left that feeling behind so many times. And so, like, you get to the end of Across the Spider-Verse and somebody pointed out, I think very pointedly, very well made, that is a movie that also doesn't have an ending. We were talking about Rebel Moon and we were talking about Justice League Part 1, and the criticism we had for both movies was that they didn't have an ending. And my favorite movie of last year was Across the Spider-Verse, and it did not have an ending. Yeah. Like, it didn't even tie off anything, really, to say, like, okay, this plot line is set. No, everything is still fully up in the air, and that's something that I loved about that didn't work with Rebel Moon.
Well, and a lot of that goes into, you got to have a high-quality movie to make that work.
Exactly. But then you go into like this, and I'm just looking at it, and I don't know how I could possibly, what if season 2 surprised me in the sense that I liked more episodes than I didn't like? What if season 2 still had plenty of episodes where I was sitting there watching it and being like, why the fuck is this a thing?
Yeah.
Why the fuck are we spending all this time and money and energy on this? And that's what it's going to come down to. It doesn't matter if you have the theme song and the look and, the weird 90s beach party, accoutrement. If the story fucking sucks and doesn't work, and it's not about like Senator Kelly and the Mutant Registration Act and all these other things, and Magneto trying to control the X-Men while also not straying too far from the core values, and how do the Shi'ar feel about everything that's going on, and all these, there's so many things you can do. What are you gonna do? Because you have a lot of things to do, and when it comes down to it, the decisions you make on what to do usually sucks these days.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna sit here and ask, how many Hela meets the 10 rings? How many of those are we gonna have? Because if it's more than 3, we're gonna have issues.
Yeah.
Because I was perfectly fine having this be in the ground. You did not need to exhume the body. And am I excited? If it works, I have no reason to believe it's gonna work.
No, I don't think it's gonna work.
No.
That's the sad part.
I wanted to so badly. I'm still gonna watch it.
I know. Oh no, we're still gonna watch it.
I mean, like, I haven't watched the Marvels. I haven't watched Loki season 2. This I will watch. This day and date I will start and watch, which is not something I say lightly. I mean, look at What If. I spent 3 weeks putting off What If because I just couldn't bring myself to watch it. I'm ready to watch this when it drops.
Well, that's the thing this thing has going for it is the member berries.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
people our age are going like, yeah, I fucking remember that show.
But I still remember watching that show again as an adult and being like, there's still some really good storylines and action in these episodes. It's not just stupid kid bullshit. There's some really good stuff here. Are you going to commit to those things?
See, I think what they would need to do, and I'm afraid they don't know how to do this now, is to separate it from the storylines. Like with What If, how they connected the storylines to what's going on in the MCU. It's like, no, you already fucked that up. Do standalone storylines in the X-Men universe.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to introduce other superheroes, do it as they don't exist like they do in the movie.
Here's something that I would love to see. Take characters that didn't exist when this X-Men came out and look at them. X-23, Quentin Queer, who's that other guy that's been big? Evan, he's a clone of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. Phantom X. There's some really cool characters. Do the stuff with Storm and Black Panther. There's some awesome stuff that wasn't around when this show was originally made that you can touch on now. I want you to dig into those things, because X-Men had Rogue steal the powers from Miss Marvel canonically in the same way that she did in the comic books. Are we going to do anything of actual merit or purpose here? Because if not, then that's going to really detract from the entire experience of watching the show.
It's going to be all damage control. You're going to love it.
I really hope not, man.
All right, so we got to move on. What's our next trailer on the list?
I want to touch on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes, which looks good.
It looks good.
I don't know how I feel about not having the Caesar dynamic.
The main character still looks a lot like Caesar.
He does.
I don't know if it's like a relative of Caesar. This is what I'm really interested in, is to find out how long it's been since War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Because I think that is going to be the most interesting thing to me, is the idea of if you skip 20 years.
But see, like, the thing I'm worried about is what made those first 3 movies so epic to me, and I love those first 3 movies are masterpieces, is the gravitas of Andy Serkis that you could feel coming from Caesar.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what really made some of these characters work, and that he's done, per se. And so I'm kind of curious to see if we're going to miss that.
Yeah, I am very curious to see, because that's going to be... I agree with you. That was always the thing that tied those movies together.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, I love monkeys, and I do love monkeys.
Yes.
And I love the way that the first one ends, and, it's one of the very few James Franco performances that I don't, in a quote-unquote serious movie.
Yes.
When he's in a Seth Rogen comedy, I'm always like, you do whatever. You were already stoned to your, eyeballs before you got on set, so, like, whatever. You do what you want here. But when it's something like this that has to take energy and gravitas, he actually did pretty good in that first one, all things considered.
Yeah.
I think Tom Felton, Draco Malfoy, was still better in that movie.
It was awesome.
James Franco.
It was awesome.
I really love the idea of fast forwarding. I don't usually love the idea of fast forwarding. I think the Apes movies ended in such a clean way that fast forwarding into something closer to the Heston era would be much more interesting to me.
Yeah.
If this is like I think it's Copernicus is the main monkey.
I think
from.
so, but that's what makes me concerned, is because if you look at the just layout of where they're living and how they're living, it looks very similar to the last
It does.
movie.
It only looks like it's been a few years since the
Which
last
you're,
movie.
I agree with you. If they would have had them aged up and, you know, living in houses and like, you know,
Or even
or even huts or something
I was
like
about to
that.
say, even in the original Planet of the Apes, where they were living in kind of these bungalow huts, and
Yeah.
you know, it's still kind of like, you know, BC era.
Yeah,
They,
but they're all
they haven't
wearing
figured
clothes.
out bricks, but
and,
yeah, they know what they're doing. They have a society set up.
yeah,
They have scientists who study all kinds of things.
I agree.
You have enough structure so you can have Dr. Zaius have completed his doctorate and have that mean something.
Dr.
Dr.
Zaius.
Zaius, Dr. Zaius,
Dr. Zaius.
Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. Ooh, Dr. Zaius.
I love
Dr.
that.
Zaius, Dr. Zaius. Can I play the piano? Why, of course.
Why?
Well, I couldn't before.
I fucking love it. But yeah, no, I love the other movie so much that
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a chance.
I'm definitely going to give this a chance. I'm a little nervous. I think some of the CGI doesn't look as good,
No.
I'm going to say. I'm looking at the thumbnail of the gorilla that's riding the horse trying to capture the girl in the trailer, and it just doesn't look, the face
Yeah.
looks weird. It looks weird.
See, and it's like the thing I'm concerned about is the final one. Even though I think it's a masterpiece, it didn't make quite as much a hit. Like
No,
it was good.
It was more of a soft thunk at the end
Yeah.
than like a resounding feeling
And
of
this
success.
feels more like okay, we put off some time. Let's put a little bit of money
Yeah.
into a fourth one and see what happens.
This is my concern, is when Matt Reeves did the Planet of the Apes movies, he had a very specific vision for what he wanted to do with those movies, and that's why they had the propulsion that they had.
Yes.
On top of Andy Serkis giving just an incredible performance in all three movies. I look at this and I say, is this somebody who is very passionate about the story that they're going to tell here? Or is this a studio money grab where they were going through their franchise and they said, hey, you know, it's been a few years since we did an Apes movie. You think we can do an Apes movie? It's been 5 years.
See, I'm afraid it's a part two.
That's
what I'm really afraid.
That's what I'm afraid of, and you won't know until you get there.
Yeah.
How much of this is money grab and how much of this is earnest storytelling.
Yeah.
And so if this ends up being just a franchise money grab, that's going to be a huge disappointment, because again, one of the things I love about the Apes movies is just how pertinent and well done the storytelling is.
Oh yeah.
And if they don't have that here, this is the story of this whole segment. If the story sucks,
Yes.
it's not gonna work.
Yes. And you need performances like John Lithgow in the first one with the dementia. It's like, dude.
Or I still
So
love,
fucking good.
I still love Kerry Russell and Cody Smith McPhee and what's his nuts?
John
Jason
Connor.
Clark.
Yeah.
I think that they give very understated but good
Yeah,
performances.
they're pretty good.
I really like Toby Kebbler in that movie because he has a dual performance, because he plays the villain who's a human, but he also plays the villain who's the ape.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I actually liked Woody Harrelson in the third one.
I really like Woody Harrelson in
he was
the third
really
one.
good.
I thought it was great.
And I like the arc where he's
Yeah.
this grieving parent.
He's just like fully broken.
Oh,
by,
yeah.
by the fall
Horribly
of the
broken.
world. He's just fully broken by it, and he just is going to continue to live life as he did when the world was still running, even though he is a broken man and the world is shattered beyond recognition. But just that moment at the end where Caesar comes over to him and he's really falling to the disease finally, and Caesar's just standing over him like, what was this all for, man?
Yeah.
What was all this for?
And it is funny because you take Woody Harrelson's character in this, and all he is a more serious version of Tallahassee from Zombieland.
Yes.
Because it's the same kind of thing where they're both broken, but one is an asshole who likes joking.
One dries his eyes with dollar bills. The other shaves his head very menacingly while looking out over his troops.
It's fucking awesome. All right, so real quick, I want to bring up something that I loved and you were laughing at.
Yes.
Devara Part 1.
Yes.
Which is N.T. Ramarao Jr., who was Beam in RRR.
Yes.
And this looks, I mean, it's hard to tell exactly what it is from the trailer. Like you said, it's like a 300.
Yeah.
But it looks like modern day pirates because there are shipping crates that they're
are there?
stealing.
I didn't see shipping
Yeah,
crates.
in the beginning, it's like shipping crates they're stealing. And so it looks like modern day pirates. But it looks so fucking cool. Like the scene where he slices the dude's neck and brings his sword up and the blood completes the crescent moon into a full moon shape. I was like, That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, I love the look and feel of Bollywood
dude,
movies.
it
That's one of the
looks so
reasons I'm
good.
excited for Monkey Man. Is that Monkey Man?
Mm-hmm.
I know that we talked about this before, but I do think that it looks like it's going to have more of a Bollywood feel than just a straight American action movie feel. Even though it has like a John Wick look, I think it's going to have a Bollywood action feel. I looked at that trailer, and while I did laugh, I was like, this does look good.
Looks fucking good.
Like, I would still watch
because
it.
it does have that 300 feel, except for the fact, the thing I hated about 300 is even after battles, they still looked really clean and like oiled up. Where in this, he's still like when the final scene where the water's splashing past his face, he looks dirty and bloody, and it's like,
yeah.
I wanted to see it so bad.
I do want to check that out.
I hope it comes to America. I know it probably won't.
I hope it's another big hit like RRR was.
I hope so,
where
man.
it just kind of forces its way into the zeitgeist.
It looks so fucking cool. And like there's I can't remember if it was dialogue or music in the beginning of the trailer that was in English.
I'd have to watch it again. I don't know.
So that's what makes me think maybe they're trying to force it into America like they did RRR by having like a trailer that part of it's in English. And it's like, why would that be?
Why wouldn't you? You have one of the leads of RRR, and it's another action movie. It has a lot of feels that, strike close to blockbuster American cinema. So I would love to see it. I mean, I would just love to see more Bollywood movies make their way transitioned over here, just because like it would put the studios in a new frame of reference.
True.
We talked a few weeks ago about studios being afraid to make a movie that's too long, a la Harry Potter or a Marvel movie that should be longer but isn't, because they're like, oh, the audience won't sit through it. One of the things I love about Bollywood movies is the ridiculous length and just how like when you watch a Bollywood movie, you are getting two discrete movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's, you have the one movie, which is all the setup, and then you have the sequel to that movie. And it's so fun. It's such a unique experience to that kind of cinema, where even if you look at something like Lord of the Rings, or you look at Endgame, which was a 3-hour movie, or The Abyss or something like that, that's, a very long 2.5+ hours. It doesn't feel truncated in that way. It feels like it's all one big story. And this is a big story, but it's divided up into these very digestible pieces. So you never have a moment where you're kind of like, oh man, I've been here forever. Yeah. You're just kind of continuing to take on new information from the story. Yeah. And man,
and they're event movies. That's what I love about them. It's not just some throwaway thing. It's like, holy fuck.
You want to talk about reasons to go to the theater?
Oh,
There's like CinemaScope in the 60s. Dude. It reframes literally how you interpret and experience the movie.
I'm waiting to hear when this comes out, because I'm going to keep checking the little theater and see if it's going to come to Rochester. Because I can't imagine, now that the Pittsburgh cinema's closed, I don't know where else they would show it.
No, I know.
It's not going to go to AMC, so it's got to go to the Little.
No, I mean, unless they do like a Fathom event, which would mean like a lot of groundswell online. Yeah. That's what that would take, is a lot of people saying, I want to see this.
And I know that new dine-in theater in Pittsburgh's open now.
I got to go. I haven't gone yet.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like. I don't know if they'll be showing obscure movies like the old Pittsburgh cinema used to.
I don't know what their scheduling is.
Yeah.
So
I wish they would do more art house movies, because that's what I miss about that theater.
Yeah.
They would do artsy movies that you wouldn't see.
And second runs. I miss having a second run theater so badly. I love the Dollar Theater. It came back for a little bit. I think it's gone again now.
No, it's gone again. There's too much violence there.
Man, I love second run theaters, and I love theaters that program what they want to show instead of what's just airing nationally right now. And one of my favorite movie experiences will forever be the day that we went to the Alamo Drafthouse in Yonkers. Best theater, bar none. Best theater, best Alamo, best theater. And we saw Ninja Turtles 1, Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze, and It. It was an 80s sewer marathon.
Oh my God.
And it was excellent. It's so good. The the print of TMNT 1 was atrocious. Did I care? Not for a second.
They should just name that Things That Have Not Aged Well. That's all 3 of those movies.
Hey, man, I'm going to stick up for TMNT until the day I die.
Oh, I still love that movie, but man, it has not fucking aged well.
Casey Jones is up on the wall for a reason now,
Casey
man.
Jones in that movie.
You got to know what a crumpet is to understand cricket.
He was fucking great in that movie.
I did want to touch on really quick Wicked. I'm just really excited for Wicked because I never got to see it, and Kelly is like an OG on Wicked. She was into it before it was cool. And yeah, she went into class and talked it up before anybody knew what it was.
Yeah.
I've never seen, I've heard songs, but I've never actually sat through the entire show.
Yeah.
So I am really excited for this film adaptation. We got the original cast recording on vinyl, so that's going to be coming sometime in the spring.
Okay.
I'm really excited to check that out. But I really do want to actually see this story because I've heard so many things over the years, and I have some concerns. Ariana Grande isn't my first choice as an actress in almost anything. But otherwise,
She's replacing, what's her name? Kristen Chiswell? Or how do you say her name? Chadwith. Thank you.
I'm very curious about this. I'm going to be relying on Kelly heavily when looking at the movie in terms of what can and cannot be.
See, my family and I this is one of our more highly anticipated movies to watch. Like we saw the trailer and my daughter almost lost her shit because she loves The Descendants is it The Descendants, the Disney one showing
that's like
the kids of and it's all musical and stuff. So she saw this and she's like, like gone nuts. And all I could think of is I'm waiting for that first dipshit racist that says, you had a white woman playing the green woman. Why is it a black woman playing the green woman? Now that's all I can think in my head. I'm like, God damn it. We've gotten to this point in our culture where that's the shit I'm waiting to hear from dipshits.
You know it's going to happen.
But I don't know. Point. I don't know if it will this time. And that's another thing I'm thinking. It's like, because they're green in the movie. So it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, first off, period, let alone they're fucking green.
It'll still probably be better than, I can't remember whether it was Rachel Weisz or Mila Kunis in that terrible Sam Raimi, Oz the Great and Powerful, who played
Mila
the Wicked
Kunis.
Witch. But it's probably going to be better than that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't wait to see this movie.
My deep hope is that everything is better than that movie, because I remember going into that movie being like, this will be interesting, and then I came out of it like, this sucked.
Jeff Goldblum's the wizard.
Come
on now. Jeff fucking Goldblum is the wizard.
Yeah. We're going to see.
I can't wait to see it.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited for this.
I think honestly, out of all the trailers for the movies, this is the one I was most when I was done. Like, I really want to fucking see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I never thought that would have been the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great.
I'm very excited.
I do want to send since I missed the Super Bowl talk, a shout out to, I can't believe I've ever say this, the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Tom Brady Dunkin' Donuts commercial, because I've seen it a few times and I'm like, that is really fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like everyone in it, especially J-Lo, who I usually could care less about. I was like, she really played it perfectly.
Yeah.
With the little dry comments and everything. I'm like, that was really fucking funny.
I just love Matt Damon in that commercial where he says, you know how I do anything for you. This was anything. But I also love that he went on Colbert wearing the jacket.
Yes.
And like did the whole thing. Like I think that was really funny.
That was really funny.
It did take me back to the days when I really deeply appreciated Affleck and Damon. Basically Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, Good Will Hunting was a big influence on me.
Don't forget about School Ties.
I am going to forget about School Ties.
They were both in School Ties.
I know, and I'm going to forget about it.
Youngins in School Ties.
I know. Yeah, anyway, I did like that. I'm trying to remember what my favorite commercial was for the Super Bowl. I think that's the problem, is that much like the Usher halftime performance, I don't remember anything interesting. I remember Temu had too many ads, and Jesus needed to spend more time being Jesus and not telling us to be Jesus.
Well, I laughed. Somebody had posted, sorry we couldn't help feed the poor. We had to spend $200 million on Super Bowl commercials.
Exactly.
It's like, that's fucking true.
Getting
right there.
AI to tell you to wash each other's feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, great message. Go out and do it, dumbass.
Like the Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito one was cool.
That wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but it was...
I like it in conceit, this idea that he can't say neighbor. And says neighbor. And I was like, okay, this is all right. I did kind of miss, I know it's a cop-out, but I did kind of miss the Doritos commercials where they just hire anybody to make a commercial. They just have a contest.
They haven't really done that shit in a while.
No, there was no GoDaddy.
And Doritos used to be the funniest commercials, but they were just like...
That's what I'm saying, is that there used to be some really good Doritos commercials that were just made by Joe Schmo.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a presence this year. Budweiser was there.
No.
I think there were more trailers than any given product.
Yeah.
Even beer. I think there were more trailers than there were.
And there were a
beer
lot more trailers for fucking shitty TV shows that I didn't give a shit about.
Yeah.
It's like, what was that one where the guy's like a bounty hunter or something?
Tracker or something.
Tracker. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. I saw so many of those commercials that I feel like I've seen the show.
Pushing that fucking hard. So yeah, no, I agree. This is always one of the things that I love. I will say when I saw the trailer for Twisters.
Oh, how did we forget about that? That horrible looking piece. Like, that first movie sucked. I said as soon as that trailer was done, I'm like, Philip Seymour Hoffman and what's his face?
Bill
Bill Paxton are rolling over in their fucking graves.
No, I was watching that trailer and I was like, oh, how interesting. Making a tornado movie. It kind of feels like a Twister movie. And then they have like the drones that can destroy tornadoes. And I'm like, yeah, this feels like if you did Twister, but it was stupid. And Twister was already pretty dumb. And then I see that it's Twisters. And I was like, you got to be shitting me.
Dude, and it was like, how are you making a nationalized television commercial during the Super Bowl for a sci-fi movie? Because that's a sci-fi channel fucking movie right there.
Oh, yeah. It's not a sci-fi movie. It's a sci-fi movie in the sense that it's a genre sci-fi movie, but we're talking about the channel sci-fi.
And that reminded me of one of my favorite movie moments ever. I was in the theater with my friends watching the first Twister, and there was a gentleman sitting a few rows up from us who had special needs. And so every now and then he would say something, but then there was the part where they were hanging onto the pipe as the tornado went over, and in a quiet theater, he goes, yeah, right. And we died. It was the funniest thing I've ever fucking heard. And all I thought about when I watched that trailer is, yeah, right. This is not happening.
Yeah. No, I saw the drones that can destroy tornadoes, and I was like, well, this is stupid. And then they were like, oh, we got this battle van for chasing tornadoes. And I was like, this is really stupid. And then I saw the title and I was like, okay, see, here I thought that this was dumb. This is somehow made dumber by the fact that you are openly associating with Twister.
The first movie was so fucking bad.
Like, it was so long ago.
So bad.
When was the last time Twister was a relevant thing in culture?
And sad to say, I think that was the last thing one of my beloveds from growing up, Jamie Gertz, ever made. Was she was the fucking, she did something on in the news or something. Yeah, and it's like, dude.
No,
so bad.
I know. I could not believe that was going to be a thing.
It was laughable. Like, I was laughing at the end of that trailer.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
Yeah, no, I was more shocked than anything.
Yeah.
I would love to talk about the Inside Out 2 and Moana trailers, but they're not really trailers.
No.
They're just announcements for movies that we knew were already being made.
And like, I already, a little part of me was kind of curious about the Moana live action movie, but
it's
then
quick.
But then they came out and said, well, later this year you're getting Moana 2.
Yeah.
The animated. I'm like, well, I'd rather fucking see that than the fucking live action Moana.
You gotta stop with the live action movies, Disney.
They gotta stop. They're so bad.
You gotta, like, Disney, I don't know whether you need to go into merchandise or the fucking Disney World or where you're gonna make your money from. You need to stop.
Yeah. Someone needs to slap their hand and just say stop.
You need to stop all the engines. The Star Wars engine needs to be turned off. The Marvel engine needs to be turned off. The Pixar engine isn't doing great. The Disney animation engine isn't doing great.
The Toy Story 5 engine?
I'm so done with this. Like,
they're doing with Toy Story what they did with Indiana Jones. It's like, dude, you nailed it with 3.
Why are you doing this?
Stop it!
Just stop.
You had the perfect ending for 3.
You had it. You finished it. Why are you doing this? Oh, to make money. That's, as we've already established many times in this episode, not a reason to make something.
Nope.
So, anywho, it's going to be a fun year.
Oh, God, we're going to have so much to rant about. I can't wait for that.
God damn it.
All right, folks. Well, that was NerdPod Generations episode 128. We really hope you enjoyed it. We do have so much more content coming up because we keep pushing certain things that we want to do.
I swear to God, it's still Groundhog's Day.
It is still Groundhog's Day.
I promise you, I know, but it is still Groundhog's Day.
It is still Groundhog's Day, and we will talk about it. So we hope you enjoyed this episode, though. And if you did, please go back and re-listen to some of our past episodes, which you can find on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And then make sure to also go to our YouTube channel, where Al is graciously putting up different segments of the show, which this is just going to be one big-ass long segment.
I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to divide it right now.
I don't even think you can.
I think we can find a way to salvage 3 segments. It's not going to be clean.
Well, good luck, my friend.
It's going to be, we're going to get it done.
So, folks, please come back and listen to us next week. Listen to us the week after and the week after, because we ain't going to fucking stop. I heard a good quote the other day. There are no such thing as failures, just quitters.
Yes.
And I was like, that's a really good
one.
I like that.
Yeah. A update on YouTube. The Obi-Wan rants are almost all up there. We have one more that is going to go up tomorrow.
Dude, please listen to those.
And then you will be able to go on and find all of the Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be up, or as it's been titled on YouTube, Obi-Wan Can Oh No.
Oh no. I can't wait. I'm going to have to go listen to those again.
So really fun getting those up. Gotten some good views. Good. I will say the thing that's gotten the most views so far, our review of Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Really? Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So
I'd like to hear that.
until next week,
Yes.
friends and enemies, we will be here. You can find me at judsumstudios.work or on YouTube.
I was working on the website. I got off track because of the family issues this week, but I will
it's been
get
a
back
busy
on
week.
track. I promise.
I did want to give a shout out. Our logo is by Kortney Howell.
It's so awesome.
And our theme is by Brendan Williams and James Connelly. And we will be back with more Nerd Rage next week.
Let me tell you, Rage is some of our best episodes.
It's what we make our bread and butter on, kids.
Yes!